One has to realize that BJP is only one part of Sangh Paribar.
Yeah.
They have RSS, they have VHP. For example, in Kerala, BJP electorally is nothing now, but that can change very rapidly. That
We are
happened in
seeing-
Bengal. Yeah.
We are seeing growth of RSS in different districts. There, shagas and
While shooting for that election, we realized that RSS and BJP is gaining strength in Bengal, and VHP personnel. We have footage of Saraswati Vidya Mandir. We have footage of their camps of Bajrang Dal. We have footage of IT cell. I think apart from left, most of the opposition parties play soft Hindutva card in one way or other.
you were one of the people who did that campaign, like no vote to BJP.
That you can vote for any other parties, okay, but don't vote for BJP, because that underlined the fact that BJP is not like any other parties. TMC as a party has kind of ruined whatever social security measures that Mamata is taking with their version of corruption, not only in local level but in the highest level. Luckily for us in Bengal, most of the regional medias were not very much pro BJP. Is playing soft Hindutva card and trying to balance that with being pro-Muslim in some way or other. So that is a typical Congress line that we have seen in every other parts of India. Last 5-6 years, the main opposition to BJP has come not from the political parties but from the civil society and farmers movement. So they are also showing that the BJP consider this kind of left to be more dangerous for them than the partisan left. What Sangh Paribar is trying to do is Hinduize the politics, basically. And the left and progressive parties should realize that playing their game would not fetch any electoral dividend for them in the long run. Left had done some of blunders during Shingur and Nandigram days, and they never kind of properly introspected their role during that phase. But we are threatened and attacked more as activists than as filmmakers.
Hi. Today in Dool Talk, we have here with us independent filmmaker, writer and activist Dwakain Banerjee with us. Your documentary, A Bid For Bengal. The name itself suggests this is like a Bengal's auction or something like that is happening, and somebody is putting a price on Bengal. I'm like really curious to know that this is a time where every voice of dissent is like brutally handled and they are silenced. At this time, you are making a documentary about how RS is getting more and more space or hold in Bengal. So how did you get that courage, or maybe like many have the courage? I would like to know how did you make it possible to make that documentary, and it is showing different parts of the world. Even in Kerala, you are coming here and showing it. So how did a documentary about RSS showing their political tricks and everything made possible in today's India?
So it was started in 2019, and we spent around 2.5 years on making this documentary. So we thought of documenting the 2019 election that we had, the general election that we had, and we thought that at that time also we didn't knew that BJP will gain so much in Bengal. So it was more of a documentation project that we started. But while shooting for that election, we realized that RSS and BJP is gaining strength in Bengal, and we decided that we need to make a film on that. We were very lucky to get access to, for example, VHP personnel. We have footage of Saraswati Vidya Mandir. We have footage of their camps of Bajrang Dal. We have footage of IT cell person talking on camera about their tactics. So in a way we got lucky. One of the reasons maybe because it was done during the election, and every media house was going to their places, and they kind of thought that we are one of those many media houses which were basically doing a pro-BJP propaganda thing. So we kind of hide ourselves in the way that we were not very aggressive with our interviews, the kind of politics that came in the edit stage. And also we realized that if we have to make a film on the growth of RSS and BJP in Bengal, it cannot be told in isolation from the past of Bengal that we had. And we bring the history of our family story in the film to show that the seeds of hatred and division was there even before RSS gained strength in Bengal. So they kind of capitalized on those seeds of division that we already had in Bengali society, and they capitalized on that and tried to divide Bengali society. As you all know that Bengali society, West Bengal perhaps was one of the very few states where BJP had no presence prior to this. So for us, we thought that we need to tell the story, and it can be a wake-up call for other non-BJP states to understand that a situation can change drastically. For example, in Kerala, BJP electorally is nothing now, but that can change very rapidly.
Yeah.
That happened in Bengal.
Yeah, we are seeing growth of RSS in different districts. There, shagas and things like that.
So that was that. It was not that we were not kind of threatened and attacked, but we were threatened and attacked more as activists than as filmmakers. We were lucky because somehow they couldn't place us. It was very easy for them to just a quick Google search would have revealed our identities. But somehow we got lucky and they couldn't put us down that this is the people who are doing this documentary. So in that way we got lucky and got very interesting access in the inner working of RSS and VHP and BJP in Bengal.
You started the documentary in 2019 and it also covered 2021 election. That election, though it was a state election, the entire country was looking very eagerly what the result will be. There was Amit Shah was campaigning there. He was there with all kind of politics was happening. There we have seen horse trading is happening, and there many political leaders or the political people said that there might be a chance. This time if BJP is gaining power, there might be a shot for them to win the election. But TMC won the election, and in a way it was told that Amit Shah couldn't win. His Chanakya tricks or whatever it is called, it couldn't make a fruitful impact in Bengal. But you have seen all the election process. You closely watched it. Whether was it really a defeat for BJP, or was it made a really big stepping stone for them to gain the power in Bengal?
Even though they lost the election and the seats were abysmal, they were only won something around 77 seats. But the fact that they got 38% of votes, that's a huge thing. The CPIM and the Congress, they not only got no seats, but the vote share was really less, 5% or something like that. So even though they lost, the fact that they gained so much in terms of vote share, that means that BJP is now the principal opposition in Bengal in a very strong way. It's not that there are opposition with not much of support. One has to realize that in Bengal we have 30% of minority votes. So 30% of the minority, we would assume, that would not vote for BJP and would vote for a bloc which is against the principal opposition to the BJP. So that gave TMC a headway. But that doesn't mean the Hindu votes, if there is a homogeneous Hindu votes, there is none, because we know that votes are not so homogeneous. Even though the Hindus, at least the male Hindus, have voted overwhelmingly for BJP, otherwise they wouldn't have got 38% of vote share. So even though they have lost, it is still a very delicate situation in Bengal. As we have said in our documentary, it is a relief, but just that, it is not more than a relief. And TMC had its own problems. TMC is accused of corruption. TMC is accused of very high-handed attitude towards their opposition. So there is always a chance, if people are fed up with TMC, for example, there is always a chance in 2026 when we have the next election, there is a chance that BJP might, we can't say with certainty, but there is a chance that BJP might come again close to the power. Right now they are in disarray because most of the defection that happened from TMC to BJP, they have again gone back to TMC. And they don't have a very credible leadership at the moment in Bengal. That's their problem. But they have ED, they have CBI, they have the might of the central government. Then they also have a charismatic leader like Modi, who can kind of gloss other problems that they have. They can gloss over through those Modi's image and all those things. So there is still a possibility that BJP might gain upper hand in 26 election. But having said that, it's not only about BJP. One has to realize that BJP is only one part of Sangh Paribar. They have RSS, they have VHP. Our problem is that the social fabric that we had in Bengal, which was mostly progressive, which was mostly secular, that secular fabric of Bengal is being corroded by the working of VHP and RSS. As we have shown in a documentary that right now they have close to 2,000 Ekal Vidyalaya in West Bengal. They have close to 250 proper schools, Saraswati Vidya Mandir in West Bengal. So they are working through all those means and corrupting the mind of young people. And they also have other shakhas like Bajrang Dal and everything. And the growth of RSS shakhas in West Bengal is phenomenal. Okay. For example, even in Kerala, even though they are not in power, they are nowhere close to power, but the growth of shakhas in Kerala, we all know, is growing. So these things are happening. So even though BJP is electorally defeated, socially and culturally, they are still, I would say, has an upper hand in Bengal politics and society.
In India, we are experiencing, we are going through a very frightening period where BJP or RSS, whatever they want, they can immediately implement it without any discussion, whether it be any law or any kind of strategy they want, they are implementing it. So, but you closely watch how that election process, how their election tactics is working. Which one you will say was the most frightening thing when you were documenting how?
I think one of the major thing to note down for Bengal election was that the organization of the BJP, even in that phase, was not strong. They were dependent on outside leaders for organizing and all that. But what the media misses out is the growth of RSS and VHP. They misses out the role of IT cell. For example, the IT cell guy gives an interview in front of us on the camera, saying that in a single constituency they can reach around 8 lakh voters. So if you can reach around 8 lakh voters, basically you don't need the kind of old style of politicking through street rallies and all those things. They're reaching to 8 lakh voters and they're trying to establish a narrative through that. So the role of IT cell, the role of VHP RSS, and all those social work that they do clandestinely, silently, and very laboriously, I would say, that had paid a rich dividend for BJP. It's not only the growth of BJP, the growth of Sangh Paribar, growth of IT cell, and using the fault lines of Bengali society. They have used all that, and that's why they are frightening. They are not like any other political party, be it a Congress or TMC or any other party. We know that they will do some kind of protest or something like that, and on the basis of that they will gain or lose votes. But in the case of BJP, it was not only the BJP that was there, also the RSS, Sangh Paribar, the whole pantheon of them was there, and they were working closely, and that paid them dividend, I would say, and that is frightening. And that is I think is one of the reasons why BJP is seems like they're unstoppable. So I think the opposition has to realize that it's not only the BJP, but the entire Sangh Paribar they're against. Yeah.
So I want to know, how do you evaluate TMC in Bengal, then Mamata Banerjee as a leader, and then if opposition is coming together, Mamata Banerjee becoming their forefront candidate?
I can't comment on whether she will be the prime minister candidate or not, but there are certain positive side and negative sides to TMC, like any other political parties. TMC is a breakaway faction of Indian National Congress, and we know how Indian National Congress functions, and all the problems that Indian National Congress might have, TMC kind of mirrors that. And TMC is seen as a very corrupt party. TMC is seen as a party which uses very high-handed tactics during the election. But having said that, the strength of TMC happens to be there are numerous social security measures that they have implemented in Bengal, and implemented keeping in mind the women voters in mind. So it is women voters not only find Mamta very appealing because Mamta happens to be also a woman, but many of the schemes that they have, like Konyasri, like Lokshir Bhandar. If you are a woman in Bengal, you will be getting, if you are a Dalit woman, you will be getting 1,000 rupees every month. If you are a general caste woman, then you will get 500 rupees. So there are a host of social security measures geared towards women, and that have paid rich dividend to TMC because women have voted in masse to to TMC. Also, Muslim population, who is 30% of the population, have found that TMC is apparently their only electoral alternative against BJP. So, Muslim population have also voted for TMC. But TMC as a party has kind of ruined whatever social security measures that Mamta is taking with their version of corruption, not only in local level but in the highest level. Right now, for example, one of their tallest leader, Partho Chatterjee, who was their education minister, is behind bar. Also, one of the Bahubali leader, Anubrato Mondol, is behind bars. So that is happening, and that is creating tension in political circle as well as within TMC. And TMC is a party with no specific ideology. So if something happens, they might break. There is a chance of they breaking down, and some of them, their leaders and cadres going to BJP. So having and also their opposition to BJP lacks ideological cohesion. They would say Atal Bihari Vajpayee was a good leader, and they would never apologize for their role in NDA. So they never criticize themselves for being part of NDA. So their opposition to BJP is more of electoral opposition than an ideological opposition. But BJP and RSS is an ideological force. If you can't counter BJP and RSS ideologically, only through some kind of social security measures and through your electoral power, you can't stop their Ashwamedh horse that they have for indefinitely. You can win one election, you can maybe win two elections, but as BJP is now their principal opposition, you can't stop them like indefinitely. So that's the problem with TMC in Bengal.
There is a criticism against Congress that their Mridu Hindutva card will definitely fail. So when you say how strong is BJP with ideologically, where do you see a hope for the opposition parties or the people in general in the fight against Sangh Parivar?
I think apart from left, most of the opposition parties play soft Hindutva card in one way or other. For example, in Bengal, when BJP started, not BJP but Sangh Parivar started taking out Ram Navami rallies, it was an occasion for them to start riot through Ram Navami rallies. They would go in front of a mosque and give very incendiary slogans, and invariably riots would happen. What Trinamool did in opposition to that, they started taking out Ram Navami rallies on their own. It was not a violent Ram Navami rally, of course, but they thought that by taking out Ram Navami rally, they would kind of blunt BJP's rallies and all those things, but that never happened. What it meant that basically they accepted the narrative that BJP had set. So that kind of soft Hindutva is not helping Bengali society at all. So that is another of the TMC's problems. And also to counter that, to say that okay, we are not only Hindu but we are also Muslims, Mamata will go again to a Eid and offer namaz kind of a thing. So like that is kind of a kind of patronizing attitude towards Muslims, that see, although we take out Ram Navami rallies, we also go to Eid and do offering namaz. But Muslims of Bengal doesn't want their politicians to offering namaz. What they need security. They also need their economic betterment. It's not only they can't be held hostage because BJP is gaining strength. Bengali Muslim society is very backward in the sense that economically they are very backward. So the kind of development that was needed, that was also sorely missing in Bengal. So these are the fault lines that we have in Bengal, and Mamata is playing soft Hindutva card and trying to balance that with being pro-Muslim in some way or other. So that is a typical Congress line that we have seen in every other parts of India. But that doesn't help. That really doesn't help. And Mamata has to stop doing all those soft Hindutva peddling that she is doing right now.
So what will you suggest in this fight against Sangh Parivar? If every party is going for the soft Hindutva card, which will they eventually fail, and BJP will gain more power. In your observation, how the political parties should fight against Sangh Parivar?
I think more than the political parties, if we see the last 5-6 years, the main opposition to BJP has come not from the political parties but from the civil society and farmers movement. For example, the anti-CAA, anti-NRC movement that happened throughout India and also in Bengal were mostly done by people who are not part of any political formation. Also the farmers movement, which was apparently not, the political parties union were there, but it was mostly seen as a farmers protest. The Dalit protest that happened in Una and elsewhere before 2019, that was again a civil society led movement. I think civil society and all the working class population has a major role to play to stop this right-wing offensive that we are seeing, and the parties would do better to have a dialogue with this kind of civil society initiative and kind of use their energy to defeat the Sangh Parivar and the BJP, because on their own I don't think any party is capable enough to fight BJP only on their own strength. Because all the parties have their limitations, and because the civil society and the farmer and the worker and the student, for example, don't all the time look at the electoral advantages. They are more bold in combating the Sangh Parivar. If you also see the pattern of arrests that are happening, they are mostly arresting people who are social left, who are not part of any partition left. So they are also showing that the BJP consider this kind of left to be more dangerous for them than the partisan left. And the partisan left and all other opposition parties would have to kind of understand the aspiration that this various kind of civil society initiatives is having, and to express that through their politics and in election process. I guess that's also very much missing throughout India.
When you said left parties don't play the soft Hindutva card, though the parties in Kerala has never been seriously accused of playing any soft Hindutva card, but there is always one kind of discussion that CPM has here in Kerala said that about Sri Krishna Jayanti, last day it was happening. CPM has once mentioned that Sri Krishna Jayanti is or those kind of celebrations are used by RSS to spread their propaganda. So let's do a Sri Krishna Jayanti from ourselves so that there won't be much chances for RSS to use that kind of celebration. So those kind of tricks, if left is doing, how will you evaluate?
I think that's left should introspect and not get into that trap. BJP is Sangh Parivar is bigger than BJP. What Sangh Parivar is trying to do is Hinduize the politics, basically. If you are they are trying to Hinduize all the other parties, not only the BJP. BJP is only their one of the tools that they have, and they're trying to change the society. They're trying to change the mindset, and the left and progressive parties should realize that playing their game would not fetch any electoral dividend for them in the long run. So I would not comment much on Kerala politics because I don't know that much, but I understand if that happened, that is a folly, and the left should introspect and think twice before doing such kind of acts, I would say, yeah.
What is the condition of left parties in, like, you know, CPM and other parties in Bengal? Like, there was like some kind of, they might come back, they are trying to come back, or what stage they are in?
Obviously, everybody is trying to come back, but right now, if you're talking about the present time, they had not had a single MLA in West Bengal Assembly. From independence onwards, it has never been the case. Left has always been very strong in West Bengal, and Congress has also been a strong party in West Bengal. So both of them are now zero in West Bengal. So you can realize that the kind of decline that has happened. They are doing some of the movements, especially against the corruption of TMC and all that. But I don't think that in coming days there are going to be any kind of electoral gain through those kind of movements. One of the reasons being left had done some of blunders during Shingur and Nandigram days, and they never kind of properly introspected their role during that phase, and somehow I think that left has to come out as left, in the sense that left has to come out with a left agenda. And if you are defending Shingur and Nandigram in one way or other, you are not seen as left but as like any other party. So left strength was their reliance on the working class population, talking about their issues and all that. Left has to reinvent itself and do some kind of introspection. Other than that, I don't think there is any hope for electoral left in Bengal. So I don't think even they think that there is any chance of coming back to power. I don't think. But I would hope that left and Congress, both other secular parties that we have, they gain some kind of electoral strength in coming days. But because if there is a vacuum against TMC and there is only BJP that is standing in opposition to TMC, so that is a very sad state of affairs. So if left and Congress can gain strength, so that would be better for West Bengal society, so that at least from opposition BJP can be sidelined. So that is very much needed, but even though we want that, that doesn't mean that will happen. Yeah.
You did a campaign, I mean, you were one of the people who did that campaign, like no vote to BJP. Like, during elections, what we see is some parties will say, vote for us, you know, vote for this particular party. And some others will say that if they don't want the people to vote to certain parties, they'll say if it's for BJP, what we usually see, the slogans will be like, do not vote for bigotry or do not vote for hatred, like instead vote for secularism and union of people or harmony, like that. But you chose to very clearly say that no vote to BJP. Why did you make such a decision?
We could have said another thing, that's defeat BJP, and we could say no vote to BJP. So we said no vote to BJP. There is a reason to it. We thought that through this campaign, we knew that a civil society campaign cannot be the deciding factor in any kind of electoral situation. But TMC, the opposition of BJP through TMC was lacking any kind of ideological clarity. And also sadly, CPIM and Congress thought TMC to be their principal opposition. So there was not a single bloc who were opposing BJP ideologically, just not as another party. So through our campaign, we wanted to do ideological campaign against BJP, and we thought that is very much necessity. And that slogan kind of caught on, and it got very popular.
Yes.
We was not the reason why BJP got defeated, but we played some kind of catalyst role, because through no vote to BJP campaign, you were saying that don't only vote for BJP, but you can vote for CPM, you can vote for Congress, you can vote for TMC. We have given that choice to the voters, that you can vote for any other parties, okay, but don't vote for BJP, because that underlined the fact that BJP is not like any other parties.
Yes.
Yes. So we wanted to say that in Bengal, BJP is an outsider, BJP represents some certain kind of Hindustan supremacy, which is very antithetical to Bengal and Bengal society. So don't vote for that party. Through that, we wanted to make an ideological statement, so to say. And a civil society initiative can do just that, not more than that. So that was our intention in starting this campaign, and somehow it caught on. The slogans and everything caught on, and it had a much bigger resonance even beyond Bengal, because people know about this campaign even beyond Bengal, that something happened, and it had some kind of impact. I would not say a major impact, but it had an impact on electoral process. Yeah.
You must be watching how media is working in this in India right now. No? So they know, like, if they say something, this might happen. So they kind of self-censor themselves, and we know how media is. There was a first stage where media self-censored. Then the second stage was that mainstream media went on to go on with whatever BJP or RSS is offering. So how do you evaluate media right now?
I think it has more to do with Delhi media and the Hindi media, which is very clearly has taken, apart from maybe NDTV and some few other channels, have taken a very clearly pro-BJP stand. Luckily for us in Bengal, most of the regional medias were not very much pro-BJP. So Republic TV started a Bengali channel because of that. After the election,
they are also bringing something in Kerala.
Okay, so after the defeat, because they knew that most of the media channels were not supporting BJP. One of the English paper that we have, the Telegraph, is perhaps the most staunchly secular voice right now in media circles. So that had played a part.
Their titles are always
So also the regional media that we have, Bengali media that we have, mostly played anti-Sangh Parivar stand, took anti-Sangh Parivar stand. So that also helped. But that might change, because also many people also watch Hindi media. It's not that Bengalis don't watch Hindi media. So they might get influenced by the kind of propaganda that is happening. It is near the kind of basic decency and the basic kind of neutrality that we expected from media houses are completely gone. You don't have to be left or center or right. You have to be neutral at least if you are a media. So that has gone out in the air. So that is happening, and that is frightening. But I think in many non-BJP states, like in Bengal, media is still, our local media is playing a more or less progressive role.
Earlier you said that, how BJP is thinking intellectuals and activists with the voice of dissent as their first enemies, and they are like putting many people behind the bars. And still there are people who come up and say what is the right thing, and say if they have something against BJP, they voice that out. So, but it's also frightening how they use police and even court sometimes to put these people behind the bars. So where do you is there any kind of hope for those intellectuals or
people who are jailed right now? I think there are very little hope, to be very honest. I can't comment on the court, because that will be sacrilege according to our law. But I think that people wanted more from a judicial system that what is happening, and police and the CBI and the ED is not acting neutral at all. So that is a problem that we have. And also the kind of laws that we have, UAP is a law that you can use on anybody, and there is a very little chance of people getting some kind of respite through even through the court. And also the new law that they have brought with money laundering law, that is again a very problematic law. And right now Manish Sisodiya's house was being raided, and everybody's house is being raided. Whoever is speaking anything, their houses are being raided. So that is in a very, very sorry state of affairs. And these intellectuals that we are talking about, they don't have a big party behind them. They don't have a big money behind them. For example, Tishta or Umar or all this kind of people. So I think apart from building mass resistance and mass movement that happened during emergency time, when many people were arrested and put behind bars, people got released only after there was a concentrated effort of human rights activists. The PUCL and everything was born during emergency. I think human rights activists have a major role to play. We can't only depend on the political players. We have to have some kind of initiative from below so that they be released. But sadly, very sadly, we don't see much of that happening right now in India.
So thank you so much for talking to us about Bengal and India and Sankara and everything. So thank you so much.
You.